Welcome to the Substitutes, everyone. I'm Gaurav. That guy over there is Omar, and today we want to talk about Liverpool's biggest, well, only signing of the January transfer window so far. Cody Gakpo is now a Liverpool player, and he was hunted for a long time by Manchester United, but Liverpool have come away with his signature. Omar, what are your thoughts from Old Trafford?
All right. So, from an Old Trafford point of view, first off, I think I've got to tip my hat off to Liverpool for getting what I think is someone who's going to be world class. I think he's genuinely going to be a world class forward. Um, Depending on who you believe, I think for banter, it's much funnier to think that Liverpool actually stole this transfer and Man United are objectively trash and their owners are trash. So depends on who you want to believe, but the rivals have gotten one over us, right? And fair enough, right? I just wonder though, Gaurav, did you really need him?
Is that what we're resorting to now? Do you need him?
Do you need it? Do you
Did Man
really,
City need
really need
another
it?
fullback? like,
Yes.
look. Um, I think looking at uh, Gakpo as a signing that fixes any of the problems that are so evident at Liverpool right now. And don't get me started on that fucking wormhole, because once I go deep, I will descend into depression right here on this fucking video. And you can watch that happen step by step. But I think I think he's a long-term signing, right? You look at his age, you look at the rawness of his potential, you look at the fact that it's not even like a huge fee, so the value is fantastic. But I think he's one for the future, and I don't think he solves any of our problems right now, except for the fact that we don't have to play Oxlade-Chamberlain on left wing anymore, and now we can start, playing him in the midfield. But again, I think Gakpo solves problems that will come up in the next few seasons. When Salah's getting a bit older, when you have the likes of Jota, who has had injury problems in the past 2 seasons, Firmino's getting a bit older as well, and there's a bit of unclarity in terms of his contract situation. We know he's looking at another 1-year extension, but we're not really sure if that's going to go down. So there is depth required up top. We have the likes of Diaz, we have Jota. Again, going forward, Elliott can play in those positions. Nunez is there, and Diaz, Gapco, that is required. You need 4 or 5 players to rotate in that position. So I think it's a great signing for Liverpool, but it's definitely not one that you're going to see win us any trophies or solve any problems this year. Very important to caveat.
Yeah, that makes me so happy, right? That makes me so happy, right? Like, look, if I'm looking at it, right, like I do look at it, let me look at it objectively, right? Objectively, you've got Diaz who's out until March, I believe. You've got Jota who's out until February. So you are a bit short. And you've got Nunez who just isn't like he scored a great goal yesterday. And by the way, I am going after him because, well, I'm a rival fan. It's my right, right? Like I'm allowed. We all went after Werner. It's trial by fire. You're playing in the Premier League. You're playing football, right? If you're gonna miss, do you remember Benzema went through that a few years ago? He just was missing all the time, and we slaughtered him. Now he's doing great for himself, right? So it's the same thing, right? I'm gonna go after Nunez because the misses are hilarious. It's Diego Forlan-esque, if I'm being honest, right? Yes, that shows my age. That is the reference I went for. But if I look at Liverpool's midfield, right, the last signing that you made in midfield, I want to say it was 4.5 years ago. That was Thiago, but that's not true. You have signed, you did sign someone recently, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Mello?
Yeah, down the
Yeah,
loan.
yeah. But look, you needed more. You need more in that midfield, and you saw it over the last 2 games. You got overrun. Brentford outran you, completely dominated you in the middle of the park. And you've also, at Wolves, full strength team against their B team, and I'm gonna be
Wait,
honest.
hang on. Is this a video about Liverpool's like shit season, or is this a video
No,
about Cody Gakpo?
I'm just mentioning whether you needed Gakpo at this time. Why didn't you sign a midfielder? That's the
I
main point that I'm trying to make, right?
I think
Like,
Liverpool are in the market for a midfielder, but it's
you've been
about
on the
getting the
market
right
for a
guy at the
midfielder
right
for
price.
years, dude. For years. Every year I talk to you. We need a midfielder. We need a midfielder. You go to every Liverpool channel. We need a midfielder. Why did you do a Man United thing and strengthen in an area? I mean, yeah, okay, you needed it, right? But like, you had more pressing issues. You've done a Man United.
Look, I think it's easy to say that when the window hasn't even closed. We
True.
don't know what other bids Liverpool have made. We don't know what other negotiations are going on. I think one thing that's different about Liverpool and United's transfer activity is we all know what the fuck you idiots are doing because the whole world hears about it, and then the price
That's
keeps
true.
going up, up, up. Nobody
That's
hears
true.
about what Liverpool does, and Gapco is a great fucking example of that. We
Except
signed
Bellingham.
him before the fucking window opened, before anyone had signed anyone, right? So if we're
True.
going to get a midfielder, we'll do that. Might be this window, might be next window. That does not take away from the fact that Cody is a fucking great player and he's going to be world class if he fills up to his potential. If you look at all of his assets, he's got great pace, he's tall, he's strong on the ball. Watching that game last night, he was one of the best players on the pitch. He was fantastic. He's got a great cross on him. He's got a great shot on him. He's not much of a skill player in terms of like flashy dribbling or any of that, but he's effective. He knows how to use his body. He knows how to use his pace. And down that left-hand side, we will need that. He's not a direct replacement for Mane or anything like that. Diaz is going to head up that position for the foreseeable future. But what Gapco brings to this squad is energy, youth, world class experience. He had an amazing World Cup. He can score with his head, with either foot. He's got so much talent and so much potential that it's just a matter of time before we start to see him assisting Nunez with crosses, him cutting in on the right hand, cutting in on his right foot, and taking those shots from outside the box or even inside the box. He's got so many traits that make him just really hard to defend against. He's going to make those runs in behind, and that's going to be great for someone like Thiago or any of our midfielders to try to find him with those passes. I honestly think this is a kind of signing that if Liverpool weren't so clearly requiring a midfielder, we would be lauding this as like a fucking steal, like the signing of the window. However, because of the narrative around Liverpool right now, there's a shift in how we're viewing this signing. For me, he is a great signing. I think United should be very fucking pissed off at their board, especially considering the fact that Eric Ten Hag was basically sucking his balls for the last 6 months and he still didn't go there. I think that is why you're so pissed off.
Look, you want to put it that way? Yeah, sure. I am a little bit annoyed, right? But I'm also gonna say this, right? I agree with you. He's a world-class player. I think, or he's gonna be a world-class player, right? I'm just wondering, with a signing that you've done so under the radar, right? And with your very public pursuit of Bellingham, right? I know he's a player that you really want. Is he gonna come to a club that's not in the Champions League? Because
I
that's the
mean,
problem. That no, you went on a bit of a rant. A bit my turn now, all right? Like I've had to listen to you speak for a while now, all right? So just hear me out, right? Great player, great signing. I think as a Man United fan, I really wish he was at my club, right? We need depth in attack, 100% for sure, right? I just think that you had more pressing priorities, and this is one thing that you need to address. Why? I just don't understand. Like you keep talking about this thing for years and years and years and years. This isn't a position that you needed right now, right? You had more pressing issues at this time. And right now, your midfield is getting overrun to shreds. You have not performed well all season, and you just decided to sign a player that right now is kind of a luxury. And by the way, I watched the game yesterday. He wasn't great yesterday. He wasn't amazing as you made him out to be, but I think he is going to have a really good season. But you need a lot more in that midfield. And that's the point that I'm trying to make.
I think I don't want to get into explaining to a Manchester United fan how pressing and tactics work. But if you're a team that presses from the front and you need energy up top, then you need someone that plays in that position to start pressing from the front, like Mane used to, like Firmino does, like Salah does. The reason for
Like
Cody
Rashford is
Gakpo
doing.
being a good signing right now is because we needed someone in left wing. We don't have a left winger in the team that is fit for the next 4 months. If you take into fact that Jota will come back, he'll need time to get up to speed. Diaz will come back, he'll need time to get up to speed. This was a position that needed to be filled. Maybe not as much as midfield, but it needed to be filled. I honestly, I can't fathom why we're talking about Cody Gakpo is a great signing, but did you really need him? He's a good signing, and we did need him. We don't have a left winger. Like,
Do you have
I
some
can't
replacements? Can't you get by
this,
for a while? What is the more pressing signing that you need right now? Did you need Gakpo on that left wing, or do you need someone to replace Henderson? Do you need someone
we
to
needed
replace
both.
Fabinho?
We
Do you
need
need
both. The window's not over.
the window's not over, but you've been talking about a midfielder for the longest time, dude. Right? The longest time.
Yes, and I'm sure we'll get one. Probably this
You've been
window.
saying that for the last 3 years, to be fair.
Yeah, dude, I'm not in the fucking boardroom, but everyone knows we need a midfielder, and everyone knew we needed a left winger. We've been playing Oxlade-Chamberlain there for like 3 or 4 weeks. What are we fucking talking about? He's not a left winger. So this
Isn't
whole
Harvey
narrative
Elliott
of
someone who could
did
play in
you
that
need
position?
him? Yes, we needed him. We desperately needed him.
Desperately.
Yeah, and we need a midfielder too, and we'll probably get one. I fucking hope. But the window's not over. So this narrative of did you need Gakpo or a midfielder? We can get both.
I don't know if you're going to, though.
You don't know. I don't know. Window's still open. Gakpo's a good signing. All of these things can be true at the same time.
Unlikely that you're gonna go for it when you now don't have the funds for a midfielder right now. That's what all the news I'm hearing. You don't have the funds for it. You keep waiting
We
and
don't
waiting.
have funds for 120 million midfielder right now, but we could get someone for 40 or 50.
Just think that you should have probably gone for that player then.
I think that Gakpo is a good signing, and I'm happy that he's at the club.
I think he
don't
is.
think it has to be because you signed him. That means your midfield is fucked. I just this narrative. I know you guys at United have this thing about oh, the club's fucked us again, but we actually have faith that things will sort themselves out and we'll get a good midfielder either this window or next window. This season for Liverpool fans is not about winning trophies or getting to the title. If we finish top 4, fucking fantastic. Does that mean that Jude Bellingham won't come in the summer? That's another fucking video, dude. I have no idea. But there's a lot of factors. And maybe we're not even going for Jude Bellingham. I don't fucking know. Nobody fucking knows. That's the way Liverpool's transfer have always worked. Nobody knew we were in fucking for Fabinho, and we signed him the day after the Champions League final. So this is the essence of this thesis. The thesis here is that Gakpo is a good signing, right?
I agree. Good signing.
And
not needed.
We needed a left winger. We now have one, and we have one that can play in that position, can play as a false 9, and can probably play on the right wing too if need be. So I think it's a great fucking signing, and I think for the price that we got it at, especially considering for the fact that Man United couldn't cough up the cash, taking it from you that we don't have the money to sign 2 players this window is fucking ridiculous.
It really, really wounds me, by the way. Really wounds me. I'm so glad that we signed him to stop the development of Garnacho.
Okay, that's it for this fucking argument. Let us know what you think. Should Liverpool have signed a midfielder instead of Gakpo? Do you think that Gakpo will actually be a good signing for Liverpool? Do you think Liverpool will sign someone else in this transfer window? And how salty do you think Eric Ten Hag is about losing out on this transfer? Let us know.
So hurt.
Give us a like. Give us a subscribe.
So hurt.
We're the substitutes. Cheers.